Well, welcome into the Varsity for a high school football media day special here on News4Jax Plus and then on the News4Jax Plus app. Justin Barney, I'm Alessandra Pontbriand. It is officially August 1st. That means into 3 weeks, the high school football season will officially kick off. The bright lights of a Friday nights returning to Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. You have a big smile on your face. That means that you are very excited for this upcoming season.
Yeah, it's 22 days away from high school football kickoff for the regular season. Georgia starts a week before that, August 16th. So this to me has always been kind of the de facto kickoff date. Practice started on Monday. Full pads come on soon. This is it. This is the day that coaches and players get jacked and excited. It is real. It is here, and we're less than 3 weeks away.
And there are tons of high school football teams here at Everbank Stadium previewing the upcoming football season, talking to media members from all over Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. They're all smiling faces, everyone anticipating what should be a successful season for most of our programs. Hopefully, unlike last year that didn't come out with a state championship, hopefully at least one team can win a state championship for us. Let's talk about the Super 10. We're going to debut our Super 10 rankings. Justin Barney, this is a list that every team around Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia want to be on. It is a coveted list. Let's debut right now. You are looking live from our studio of the Super 10 rankings. Let's start with number 10, Justin. Who is it?
We got 10. I got Creekside. I told Sean McIntyre early on today when we had him on that he was starting in at number 10. I like the Knights because they've got a great offense. Sean Ashenfelder, quarterback. He's a baseball, football guy. He is committed to Rutgers. And Harrison Garrido, he was a running back that came into the system last year. It was just phenomenal. Sean McIntyre, 8th season there. He's made the playoffs in 4 straight seasons. They lost last year in the regional quarterfinals to Pontbriand. 6-5. They can score on anybody. My question with them is, can they stop anybody? They score a lot, but they give up a lot. I think that defense can be a little bit better this year, though.
Let's talk about number 9, Trinity Christian, losing their Colin Hurley, their quarterback. Who is going to be the new quarterback for Trinity Christian? That's the question.
They've lost a lot of guys. They've graduated a lot of guys, and I'm maybe a little too high for them. We had Trinity almost preseason number 1 last year, so a little bit different for Trinity starting this slow, but they are young. They don't have a lot of seniors on this team, but Verlin Dormy, that coaching staff, been together for a long time, so I see Trinity still being in my top 10.
Baker County, where Cooper Hodges, the Jaguars offensive lineman, used to play. They are coming in at number 8.
Yeah, and Baker County is one of those teams. Kevin Mays has been there. He's taken over. He's inherited a team that Jamie Rogers had, and he has built something there. They played in the state semifinals as recently as 3 years ago, so they have got a bunch of guys. Davion Dean is a big one. Seth Chestnut, a lot of good guys on that defense, so I like Baker County.
Coming in at number 7, one school that I know very well. I covered all their playoff games last season, the Bradford Tornadoes. I still think, Justin, with their fireworks display as they start the game, they have the best high school football atmosphere, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere. The small town teams are great, Baker County being one of them. Bradford is, again, another team. If you've not been to Bradford and Stark on Friday night, it is fantastic atmosphere down there. I've got them at 7. They played for a state championship last year. Will be a difficult run this year. You're back out of the suburban, back into everybody in the classification. But Jamie Rogers is a heck of a coach, though.
Oh, absolutely. Let's talk about number 6, Riverside. They have a Florida Gators commit. Florida Gator fans, you are going to really like their tight end, Tayshawn Gelsey.
The thing with Riverside in this kind of the transfer portal era of high school football, Antoine Nicholas came in for O.J. Small, took over the program that was a little bit in transition, kept that team together, and has just done a remarkable job. Tayshawn Gelsey, Miles Kendrick, the 2 big names there. Glenn Foreman, the 3rd at quarterback. But I like what Antoine has done. Hopefully we'll hear from him a little bit later on. I like those Riverside Generals in the backyard.
Okay, let's talk about the top 5. Number 5 coming in St. Johns County, Bartram Trail Bears.
The reason I like Bartram, they graduated a lot of offensive firepower, but they have got a ton coming back on that offensive line. Jimmy Huck, Zach Marshall, Jaden Weatherly at QB, Arthur Lewis IV. I think he could be one of the breakout stars this season. He is going to get a lot of touches for the Bears. Corey Johns in year 2. They've got a lot of guys that graduated as well, but again, your Bartram Trail, you're expected to do great things. 8.
Number 4, Solomon Thomas, the offensive lineman. He's a 5-star recruit. He plays for the Reigns Vikings. They're coming in as the 4th best team.
I like Reigns every year. Donovan Maslin, this is the best team he has had. in addition to Solomon coming back, you've got so many big guys that have transferred in to that program, and this is the best team, I think, since Durand Wiley won that last state championship for Rain. So I like Donovan Maslin. I like Rains. I think they are the second best team in the Gateway Conference, behind a team we'll get to here just in a second.
And Matt Toblin's Bolles Bulldogs, they're coming in as the third best team in your Super 10. They're not going to like that. They want to be number one.
That's true. Another situation where Bolles did not have a good season last year, but they always get to the state semifinals. They've been there every season for Coach Matt Toblin and beyond. I think they've got a tougher road this year. But again, when you're Bolles, you've got a great coaching staff, and Matt Toblin, Josh Hoekstra over there, a lot of good guys. And you got Ethan Drum coming at quarterback, Simeon Caldwell at linebacker, Asher Gatto, a good freshman over there. Good things expected at Bolles. Of course, good things always expected at Bolles.
And coming in at number 2 on our Super 10 rankings is the St. Augustine Yellow Jackets.
I had a little trouble with this because I really thought I would have St. Augustine number 1. They played for a state championship, lost in state championship game to Daytona Beach Maitland on a walk-off field goal. Cruel finish for St. Aug, 13-1. But I have them at number 2. They have a great offense. Lachlan Hewlett at quarterback, Carl Jenkins, Samorian Wingo. Questions on the defensive side of the ball, but I think St. Augustine's going to have a robust offense.
And the best football team in our area, there is no doubt about this one, the Mandarin Mustangs. They have some of the best high school football recruits in the entire country, and thankfully they get to be the number 1 team to start this season, though.
Yes, first area team to win 4 playoff games on the road last year. They got to the state championship game, lost to Miami Columbus. We're going to hear from some Mandarin guys in a minute, but they are simply loaded. Jamie French at receiver. He's a 5-star. Tremel Jones, Elite 11 quarterback. Drake Stubbs, he was our reigning defensive player of the year. He is back, and they've got a load of transfers. We'll talk to Coach Toby Bullock later in the show about those expectations, but they are loaded. I think Mandarin is the number 1 team for me, not by much, because St. Augustine is right there too.
Yeah, of course, those Super 10 rankings will come out each Tuesday night during the high school football season at 10 p.m. So make sure you tune in. A lot of shuffling from last season around those Super 10 rankings, but that is a list that every high school football team wants to be on. Let's talk about the teams just outside of that bubble. We'll start with Nice.
I saw Nice today. Had a chance to talk to Colin Drafts. Good receiver, Maddox Spencer. I think he is the guy to watch, one of the best receivers in North Florida. Great season for Nice last year, district champion, lost in the first round of the playoffs, but an excellent team. I've got Fletcher coming in right after that. 7-4, Seatric Faison. He is building something at his alma mater, TK Muix, the big-time offensive lineman committed to Miami. Ponte Vedra in there as well. 8-4, Steve Price building something pretty special out there in Ponte Vedra. Another team that I think has got some pretty big expectations. St. Johns County football landscape is extremely competitive, but I got Ponte Vedra in there as well. So a lot of good teams in this area. Columbia and Oakleaf, the other 2 teams that rounded out it. Columbia 4-6 last year. Brian Allen hits his second year back in his second stint. I like them. And then Christopher Foy and Oakleaf, another team just outside on the bubble. They got an impact transfer in Caleb Singleton, and I think they turned some things around this year. They had some tough, close losses last year. So those are my teams right outside that top 10.
Now, Justin, every high school football team wants to be on the Super 10 rankings, but every high school football player wants to make it on the Varsity for Super 16 rankings. We are talking about the 16 of the best high school football players in our area. We will start with number 1. Who is it?
I don't think there's too much debate. Solomon Thomas, 5-star offensive lineman, 6'5", 315. He's committed to Florida State, the highest rated recruit in Rain's history, and that's saying something. Number 2, I've got Jamie French. We're going to hear from him in just a minute. 5-star receiver at Mandarin. Number 3, we've got a tight end from Camden County, Elias Williams, 6'7", 240. He is a monster. Hopefully we'll hear from Elias later today. He is committed to Georgia. Tremel Jones, we'll hear from him in a minute. He's our number 5 recruit. He's an Elite 11 guy. We don't have a lot of Elite 11 guys around here. Number 6, tight end at Riverside, Tayshawn Gelsey, great athlete for the Generals. We have this recruiting class, to me, is one of the best we've seen since that Derrick Henry class in 2013, and then a couple years later, the Kevin Tolliver, CC Jefferson class, loaded with recruits. Tayshawn Gelsey at Riverside. Number 6, Carl Jenkins Jr., receiver at St. Augustine. He comes in at 7. He is committed to UCF. Going down to Flagler Palm Coast for this one, Colby Cronk, the edge rusher from FPC. He's committed to NC State. He's number 8 recruit. TK Muix, he is offensive lineman, interior lineman at Fletcher. He is committed to Miami. He's my 9th guy. Joshua Patterson, safety at White. He's headed to Iowa State. He's my 10. Giant Simon from Rains, big defensive lineman. He is number 10 for me. He's headed to Iowa State. He's number 11 for me, excuse me. He's headed to Iowa State, and reason why I like that Range team so much, they have got a boatload of guys there, so those are my top 11 as we make the move into the turn in the final 12 through 16, Caleb Singleton, he's at Oakleaf, committed to Rutgers. The athlete Lachlan Hewlett, St. Augustine, he is headed to USF. He's 13 for me. Sam Hayward, son of Reggie Hayward, old Jaguars edge rusher back in the day. He's a Providence guy, uncommitted. 15 and 16, receiver Chase Collier at Bolles. He's headed to Baylor. And number 16, Miles Kendrick, receiver at Riverside. He is heading to Indiana. That's my Super 16 package of recruits this year. A lot of good, talented kids in our area.
Well, we're going to be talking to a few of those Super 16 players and the number 1 team in our Super 10 rankings. The Mandarin Mustangs triple threat of Jamie French, Drake Stubbs, and Tramel Jones will be joining us right after this break. You are watching the Varsity 4 High School Football Media Day special. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Varsity 4 High School Football Media Day special. We are joined by Mandarin's triple threat this season. Quarterback Tramel Jones, wide receiver Jamie French, and defensive back Drake Stubbs. Guys, how excited are you to be here? You're previewing the upcoming football season. Just what are your emotions as you guys we're 3 weeks away from kickoff?
Very excited to be here this media day. Been in high school 4 years, been wanting to go to this media day for a long time, just seeing all the seniors come. Very excited for the season.
Jamie?
Man, it's truly an honor, man, to be here, man, just to see these guys, man, just to get around and even just take the time out of the day, just come out, man. So it's truly an honor for sure.
Definitely what those two guys said, it's definitely a blessing to be out here, seeing the competition, seeing who all we going to beat on this year. And, yeah, it's definitely fun seeing everybody having a good time.
Yeah. So Drake, and you were our News for Jack's Defensive Player of the Year last year. Why don't you introduce your guys behind you? I know there's three up front, but you got a lot of teammates too who you want to promote and talk about. Introduce your guys behind you.
Wow. Hold on. What's your last name?
Metaday.
And Tramel, you can introduce the guy behind you.
I got you.
this Adrian Medinay, this Jalen Lewis, this Deion Winstead, some dogs, a linebacker, strap mob DB, and a big D line that's gonna catch me a lot of picks this year.
And now you know his last name too. Live TV, guys. Live TV.
So you guys played in the state championship game last year. You got some new faces in there. New division, too. You're back in 6A instead of 4M. What are the changes, and what do you guys expect this year when there's so much outside pressure on you? You're in the Elite 11 quarterback. You're all three of you guys major recruits, Florida State, you're uncommitted, and then Miami. How do you balance those expectations, and what do you expect if you maybe suffer a loss or two along the way?
Really just keep the main thing. Stay level-headed. I think social media really plays a big part in that. Don't always look at what everyone says, and even if you do, don't let it get to you. Stay level-headed. Listen to your coaches. Don't listen to the outside noise, and just focus on what your goal is, and just keep looking at that goal, and I think you'll be perfectly fine. And the guys that we have this all season, and some new guys, really just pouring their head what the idea of this season is and what we really want to accomplish this year. Them looking at what everyone else is doing around them, I think they're really just fitting it in and going with the flow.
Definitely.
Jamie, for you, the college process is kind of taking you all over the place. You got NIL is new this year. You got next year, you're not going to be a part of the championship division in high school sports. So many changes in high school sports and into college. How are you balancing all that and learning kind of on the fly?
Man, honestly, one thing I like to do is keep the main thing, man. You know, there's one goal I want to be a first-round draft pick, man. So just keeping the main thing. Every step throughout the way, just making sure I'm on the right path. You know, make sure everything's lined up right. You know, a lot of stuff is going on outside of football. You know, just want to take care of the stuff on the field, and then the stuff off the field is going to take care of itself, you know.
Drake, we saw Toby, Coach Bullock, in passing a little bit ago, and he said expectations are what they are, and it's good to have expectations. It's good for that pressure to be on you on Friday nights. It's good to be going down to IMG and people expecting you to lose, because expectations are a privilege.
Right.
Yeah, they definitely are. Our expectation is to go win state this year, and I feel like we're going to go do that.
Definitely.
I feel like we're going to go show the whole world that we are who they say we are.
Definitely.
That expectation, and I feel like we're going to go show the world who we are.
You know, when you talk to anyone around Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia, everyone talks about you three guys. They say you guys are the best ones on the field every single Friday night. Does that, can you guys believe it? Like, you guys are center stage for high school football in Northeast Florida.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I was just talking to Tremel. We really, all three of us have an argument of being the best player in the nation at our position. So it's crazy. You can argue that he's the best quarterback in the nation. You can argue that he's the best receiver in the nation. You can argue that I'm the best safety in the nation.
Right.
So it's crazy. All three of us being on the same team, it's wild. It's wild for sure.
Definitely. No doubt.
Exciting. Your final season, counting down the days, 22 days and counting until kickoff, your final season's bittersweet a little bit, going out to practice for the final time with some of your guys?
A little bit, yeah. For sure. It's crazy. I know Drake just got here with us from Oakley. He wanted to come just because competition level, he wanted to play on that big stage. He wanted to be pushed in practice with Jamie and all our other receivers, and also be helped around our DB room with our elite secondary. And I know me and Jamie, we've been together for a long, long time. I think just coming in that summer of freshman year, going to camps and colleges, I think just us being together year-round, I think it was definitely a bittersweet moment just for our last practice to be on Monday, so it was crazy.
You're counting down the days. High school kickoff classic, August 16th. First week is Creekside. Keeping your focus on Creekside right now, not maybe some Homestead down the line where you could possibly see in the playoffs. Is it all Creekside?
All Creekside. All Creekside. To be honest, to be genuinely honest, we haven't beat Creekside in my high school career, and it's a little personal for me. Week one, I think that I talk for everyone else around me. That game is very personal. Definitely. And we're going in there with no remorse, no anything. So I think Jamie can add on to that, to be honest.
Definitely, yeah. No doubt, man. Piggyback off what he said, Creekside's a major factor. We haven't had a chance to beat them, our whole high school career. So definitely starting it out early, want to start it off fast, just do what we do best, to get the win for sure.
Drake, I know it was a tough game last year at Creekside. I mean, their offense scored late in the game. Defense, you taking that personally? They're a great offense too.
Definitely, I'm definitely taking it personally. I was at Oakley for my first 2 years, and we lost to Creekside too. And then I came here thinking we are gonna beat them. We lost again. So this year is personal for me too. I know it's personal for all these guys too. We gotta beat them this year, and this the year we're gonna beat Creekside. Well, no, we don't play Bartram this year.
Yeah, we might play them in the playoffs.
Yeah, we might play them in the playoffs. They got lucky.
It's so crazy because y'all, 4M last year, Bartram was 4S. You guys are back in 6A together this year, so you dropped down. You're still one of the biggest schools in 6A though. So man, August 23rd is right around the corner.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Okay, Jamal, we know you're going to Florida State. We know, Drake, you're going to Miami. Jamie, you want to do it? I'm putting you on the spot. Do you know maybe your top 3 now? I know we talked to his top 5, but have you narrowed it down to, do you think you know where you're going?
Yeah, definitely. I have a top 4. I haven't narrowed it down to where I'm going. Drake wants me to be a Miami Hurricane. Tremel wants me to be a Seminole. So it's competitive, but I have a top 4 for sure.
Listen, both your head coaches at college are hearing that. They're like, please, please. I know any college will want you as well as you 3. We're live here at Everbank Stadium, the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. In a couple years, I bet you will see these 3 high school football players in the NFL as well. Thank you guys so much, and good luck this season. Thank you for joining us here live on News for Jacks.
Yes,
and we will be back with the Varsity 4 High School Football Media Day special when we return.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect.
to the Varsity for a high school football media day special on News for Jax. Justin, we are joined by the top football or high school football recruit around our area. Your #1 Super 16 player, Solomon Thomas, the offensive lineman for the Reigns Vikings, as well as head coach Maslin. How are you guys doing? Are you guys excited? The season's only 3 weeks away.
No, definitely excited. They've been working hard since the spring for this moment, and they're ready to take advantage of it.
We got right next to Solomon. We got a great offensive lineman and also a defensive lineman too, right? Introduce your teammate right next to you.
Jayan Salmon, 3-star D lineman. He definitely kept me working. He came after my freshman season, so sophomore year, junior year, we've been battling it out, and I really do credit a lot of my hard work to him.
So you see a lot of good guys coming at you in the defense on Friday nights, but you got one good coming at you at practice every
More
day.
than one.
Yeah, it's coming at you. So you got some Reigns guys behind you. Coach Mazza, why don't you go ahead and introduce the Vikings you brought
We
here.
have linebacker Michael Merritt.
Yes, sir.
We have wide receiver Caleb Lampkins, wide receiver Adron Walker, and then offensive guard Sion Hawkins.
Got a lot of guys, a lot of talent on this Reigns team this year. Expectations as well. You got Bolles week 1 right out of the gate. They ended your season last year, a little bit of redemption, and that playoff series, that series between Bolles and Reigns is iconic. You've been in quite a few of those, coached in a few of those. What is it about week 1 that you're looking forward to?
A great game for the city of Jacksonville. A great game that's talented, with talented rosters on both sides. Looking for the kids to come out and compete on both ends, so that they can show their true talents for the nation, and get some kids notarized that who are have not been known. This could be a good game for them, and just want to come out and execute at a high level in all 3 phases of the game, and whatever happens at the end happens.
Solomon, you got started a little bit late in playing the game of football, right?
Yes, sir.
And now you're the highest recruit in Reigns football history, 5-star guy. That's unbelievable. What do you know about the tradition and history of Reigns, and how exciting is it to be kind of the guy at Reigns?
I actually didn't know that, the whole first 5-star to come out of Reigns history until maybe beginning the end of my junior season. Reigns is definitely a humbling place when you talk about football and you talk about academics and just the atmosphere of the whole school. There's never been a time where I felt any differently than anybody else. We have great talent across the board. I was just blessed enough to be seen and get my name out there.
Giant, what do you learn about going against a guy like him, and what do you expect? And you're one of the best players in our area last season in your own regard. You're heading to college as well. What do you learn about facing a guy like this, and then the expectations and the pressures at Reigns?
Well, I've learned a lot from Solomon. Just hand-eye coordination, where his hands are, the replacement when he always recover his hand, again, my hands back in my chest, just keep my hand work, my hand movement crisp. So I've learned a lot just going against him one-on-one during practice to perform on the field.
And by the way, we just debuted our Super 16. Both of you guys are on that list. To know that Justin Barney, the best high school media reporter around, thinks that you two are the best players in our area. What does that mean for you guys?
It's a great feeling just because I've worked hard. I've worked hard with this team. It's just a relieving feeling just to feel that, just to be noticed in the city and nationally.
You guys are number 4 in my Super 10.
Okay.
Mandarin, St. Augustine, Bolles, Reigns. So a chance to jump up pretty early on in the season.
Everything has to be decided inside the rectangle. We know those, the media has their job to do. We have our job to do. So our job is to go out there and play football. We don't really get, too caught up with the rankings and all of that good stuff, because, that's not our job. So
do you guys, there's so many expectations on you guys. Ran to Toby Bullock kind of in passing. Mandarin is loaded with guys. You guys have a ton of stars on your team. what do expectations do? Do you address them? Do you say to the kids not to think about them? They're kids. They're going to look at social media and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to kids on the team and coaches to keep these expectations in check or not even look at them?
Well, they already know how I am. I'm not real big on just, talking trash and, everything has to be decided on the field. So, as long as they're coming every day, they're working to get 1% better. They're pushing each other in practice. They're competing at a high level. They know to come out on the field on Friday nights that every team that they face will give their best shot. They want to win. They want to beat Reigns. And they all know that the expectations for the other team. So we know we have to have our best game every night. So we don't really get caught up in that. We just want to make sure that we execute throughout the week, and then, come Friday, just have fun and just playing the game of football and, that never say die mentality.
I've heard the saying before, pressure is a privilege. Do you feel that way?
Yes, sir. Especially going into my freshman year, we had a lot of guys on the defensive side of the ball who pushed me basically to my limit. Every day definitely wasn't a good day for me. Coach Maddox can definitely attest to that. There's some days that I didn't have the confidence or, the drive to continue to go forward. But, that's why you have coaches and players to continue to lift you up. And then just through that pressure and then bringing along these guys with me who are behind me as well, they know the pressure that the Reigns coaches definitely put on us, and it does nothing but, make us better.
Hey, well, let's take a glance at your 2023 record. You guys were 10-2, lost the 2M regional semis. Definitely not the expectation that you guys usually are held up to. Obviously you want to go farther into playoffs this season. What do you guys need to do to be able to do that?
I think late in the game, just making sure that we continue to stay locked in and stay focused. We want to make sure that we minimize the mistakes, late in the games as well. That can cost, a win or loss in the ball game. Last year I felt, that team understood how to win in close games. We had some areas that some kids really stepped up for us. They made some sacrifices to play other positions, and they led that team to a 10-2 record. So I take nothing from them. So this year moving forward is all about the discipline, the focus, late in games, and, those control what you can control type plays, and, those false starts and offsides and, just delay of games, just minimizing all of that, and that's what we've been working on this camp, and they're ready.
Great season academically for Reigns, too. Grades came out first time ever in Reigns history. The scores seem to B grade. That is awesome. So you guys are doing stuff on the field as well as in the classroom. Definitely. I know that's something that has been very positive and extremely exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Mr. Hall, our principal, he's been working very hard. The faculty and staff, they've been working hard with the students. The students they worked hard this past year. And the things that, Mr. Hall, he does throughout the year, making sure that kids get the necessary preparation for these assessments, the teachers planning weekly to make sure they have the right lesson plans and, lessons prepared for them so that they can succeed. So it's very good, and, we just tip our hat off to our faculty, our principal, Mr. Hall, our assistant principals, AP Scarlett, AP Stallings, and AP Williams, and then all the, the faculty staff at Reigns, and also these wonderful students that we do have. It's just a blessing to see something like this happen, because we know the stereotype that we get at our school and, out on our side of town. So we hold our heads high. We stick our chests out at this moment, and we just want, just let people know that we're doing great things over there at Reigns High School, and we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going.
Yeah, putting the student and the student athlete. For sure. You got to be a student first before you can be that athlete.
Right.
These guys representing that well. You got to get those grades to go to college, and these are the 6 men you brought today and a lot back at the school. Certainly exemplify that. So
and we are very excited to cover you guys this season and to see how well you guys do. Obviously, thank you guys so much. Good luck this season. The Reigns Vikings. Thank you guys so much again. Well, Justin, we are debuting a new high school football logo. It's the Varsity 4 high school football show. Here is the game of the week schedule. We just talked to the Reigns Vikings. They are going to be our week 1. They're going to be our week 1 game. The Reigns Vikings against the Bolles Bulldogs. It's definitely definitely going to be one of the best high school football games in the area. Let's look at this game of the week. What do you like the most? What are the games that we should all be paying attention to?
It's so tough when you try to put together a game of the week list because there's so many deserving games, Mandarin's going on the road and playing IMG. Obviously, you can't get that. There's so many to pick and choose from. So many county rivalries that you can't squeeze in there. But Reigns at Bolles week 1, I think that's self-explanatory. Pontbriand at Bartram. We're going to hear from Bartram in just a few minutes. That's a great county rivalry. Bolles, St. Augustine. Again, St. Augustine is our number 2 team in the area. Bolles is 3. Mandarin is our number 1 team. Bradford is 7. That's our week 4 game of the week. Columbia at Trinity Christian. 2 great teams there. Historically perennial good programs. Orange Park at Middleburg. We had a little Clay County flavor there. Beachside to Coy Creek was our game of the week the last 2 years in week 1. This is Beachside's first year in district play. To Coy Creek doing well under Coach Zach Harbison. Another county game, Fernandina Beach at Yulee. Nassau County showdown there. St. Aug at Bartram. That is, if you've never been to that game, you're missing out. That is in week 9. 10, week 10, 11, Riverside at White, and then Creekside at Pontbriand to wrap up our games of the week. And that doesn't factor in any hurricane cancellations that always seem to happen. But we got 11 good ones there, and then whatever happens to the playoffs.
Well, Justin, you just talked about Bartram Trail. They will be our game of the week twice this season. We are now joined by the Bartram Trail Bears, Coach Johns. Just how exciting is this? You're at Media Day. You're live on News for Jacks, previewing the season. So what's the excitement for the upcoming season for you?
Yeah, we're very excited. We got a lot of people back on offense. We're replacing 11 people on defense, but they played great in the spring against Seminole, who's a really good football team, usually in the Final Four or state championship. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what these guys do. I feel like we've been doing it forever and slowly getting to the first game, but I'm excited. I can't wait for it.
Well, Zach Marshall, the offensive lineman, and Jacob Ducker, the linebacker, are with you as well. Guys, just like I asked him, how excited are you for the upcoming season?
I'm super excited. I'm ready to get into it. Tired of hitting my teammates in practice. Want to hit somebody else.
Yeah, ready to get after it. Been waiting a long time for this, so pretty ready.
Coach, why don't you introduce your other guys you got behind you?
Yeah, this is James DeLeo, plays safety. This is Jimmy Huck, he plays offensive line. DeAndre Caldwell, wide receiver. And Nick Spicer, also offensive line.
The thing about Bartram is people know him for quarterbacks. People don't know him for offensive line, and Bartram has been an O-line factory. In my time covering the school, it opened in 2000, and they've just had no shortage of offensive linemen. And the guys you got coming back this year, the Hogs, pretty darn good guys coming back.
Yes, sir. We have pretty much all of our starters coming back, and the ones that didn't start played significant amount last year. And these 3 guys that are here right now are really good football players. They're all going to play in college somewhere at some point. And this is the biggest we've been. Talking to our offensive line coach, Coach Dean, who does a great job, by the way, is one of the best around. This is one of the biggest offensive linemen groups that he's had that's been together, and also the most experienced, because all these guys started a bunch of games in the last 2 years. Zach started 26 games in the last 2 years, 29. So we're very experienced up front, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'm sure Arthur and Nico are two running backs behind those guys.
A couple of your offensive line were all News for Jacks selections last year, and a big reason why Lathan Biddle led the state of Florida in rushing. He was our all News for Jacks offensive player of the year. He's moved on to college, over 2,000 rushing yards. Lathan, we had him in studio last year. He mentioned all the offensive line guys by name. That's what a good running back does, right? He knows those guys. Maybe buying them with some NIL money now, some big barbecue meals or woodpeckers,
sushi. Yeah,
big guys like that. But Arthur Lewis IV, he's a guy who's going to get some carries. I talked to you at camp, and you mentioned him as a guy that could really see an uptick and a big-time performance this year.
Yeah, so Arthur's very special. I don't know that a lot of people know quite about him yet, just because Lathan was a senior and he was the guy last year. But I told every college coach that's come through here that will listen that he's going to lead the state of Florida in rushing himself, if not outdo what Lathan did last year. Arthur's a special talent. I probably had 6 Division I running backs lucky enough to coach him, and he might be the best one I've ever had.
That's saying something. I saw him actually take a kickoff back in the IMG game, or there was a kickoff or punt return last year. He had it for a touchdown, and it really kind of swallowed in the shadow that Lathan created, because it was such a gigantic shadow. But new quarterback this year, and Jaden, correct?
Yes, sir.
So Jaden takes over for Riley. He got a little bit of playing time last year when Riley was banged up, but Lathan was such a big part of that offense, and I can't emphasize enough how much it had to do with that offensive line.
Yeah, the offensive line is special. The last year's group, this year's group, those guys, like I said, Coach Dean does a really good job with our offensive line, and I think that's a big reason why Bartram has been successful in the past, and I think will continue to be because he's there and does a good job with those guys. And they're smart. They can make adjustments on the fly. They can decide certain things that I don't have to call as a coach once I call the play, especially with Zach at center. He can change different things that I don't necessarily have to worry about. And in some places, you're not that lucky. So I think that's a big deal for us and why we have been and are going to be successful.
Is it fine being anonymous on the line? Do you like that?
I don't mind it. It takes a whole team to do it, so.
So you only hear, the cliche is you only hear about offensive linemen when they miss a block or get a penalty or something like that. You guys work together. Bartram has been quarterback high in a sense for a lot of people, but it has churned out so many good offensive linemen over the years. When Darryl was there, it was just one guy after the next, and that's been a staple of Bartram. What is it like kind of playing in that, following in that Bartram lineage and that line?
It's fun. We just do our job every week and don't worry about all the talk around.
Is there, do you prefer that anonymity?
I really don't care.
That's all the offensive linemen who started out playing skill positions, and they love scoring, and then it comes to offensive line, they make a position switch, and it's like, okay, well, you go from scoring touchdowns to blocking for guys who score touchdowns. And some guys love it, and some guys would rather have the headlines. Offensive line as a group, did they feel kind of that same personality?
Yes, sir. We're real tight-knit, and we're just ready for the season to start and get it going.
Are you concentrating on anything else other than week one to get Sumner, right?
Sumner, yes, sir.
That's the focus, 1 week at a time until we get the States.
When you have those expectations like Bartram does, Coach, you guys won 2 playoff panhandle games last year. When you have those expectations like Bartram does, is the pressure a privilege? Is it, you know, that tradition at Bartram, and is it overwhelming in a sense? We know what everybody has done before you and you have to live that up, or is it just one-track mind and you focus on the task at hand?
You got to have tunnel vision. You can't worry about all the big stuff. You got to focus on each week at a time. You just got to keep going.
Well, Jacob, tell us about the defense. We're talking all about the offensive line. Let's represent the D for Bartram Trail. How are you excited to return, and, you know, what should we expect from you guys?
You know, not many people know about us. You know, we can't get underestimated. Not a lot of people know, but we're really tight-knit. We've played together a long time, so we're just ready to show people what we can do. You know, we played good against Seminole, so looking to build off that, week one and build on it throughout the season.
And finally for you, Coach, I mean, obviously year one must have gone well. You're back here for year two. Just what did you learn from that first year as the Bartram Trail head coach?
Yeah, honestly, what I learned is how special Bartram Trail is and how special Coach Sutherland is. Just him being around while I was there, he was never intrusive, but if I wanted to go talk to him, he was always there. And I think he did a good job of kind of being in between there. A lot of people would not necessarily want to take that job because he was still going to be on campus and maybe afraid of that, but I thought it was more of a tool. And just how special the place Bartram is, like you just asked Zach about the expectations, I think it's a huge deal. And I think that most people would want to rather play at a place that has expectations than the inverse. So I'm proud of these guys, man. We've worked hard this summer. We just got back from team camp, which was like 2.5 days. It's pretty grueling, but they enjoyed it and had fun. Lake Mary and Jesuit were there, which were really good football teams, and we did some good things against them, and still have some work to do. But like Zach says, our theme this week and our character theme is purpose. So just narrow our purpose and make sure we know what we're doing. And also, don't let the offensive lineman fool you with the humbleness. Zach asks me at least every other day to throw an offensive screen to him, and Jimmy wants me to hand him the ball. So don't let them fool you. They're just They're just being humble in front of people, but they want the ball.
When the camera's on, the humbleness comes on. Yeah, Daryl Sutherland was a gem of a coach, and he's still. You mentioned that. Probably coaches didn't want to come to a Bartram Trail when you have to follow in the shadow of a legend in a sense. But Daryl was there. I can't tell you how many times I came out to Bartram and I saw you, and then I'd see Daryl in the same hallway, and he was just there to help and offer guidance. And he was coaching flag football, right? He was a mentor on the flag football team with his wife Mary. So that was really cool to kind of see that.
Yeah, he's a great guy, man. He is who he says he is. It's not fake. I know people from the outside maybe think that it's a fake and like a persona, kind of like people look at Dabo Sweeney, but it's definitely not fake. He is who he says he is, and he's like that every day, every hour, every minute, every second. That's just who he is.
Yeah, built from. You don't see coaches like Daryl anymore in this business. The industry has changed so much. It's tough. The pay is terrible. Daryl was there from ground one when they were practicing, and they didn't even have a field.
Yes, sir.
And they were moving down and building Bartram as a program, and he came there in 1999. They opened in 2000 and stayed until Corey got there in 2023. So remarkable job from Daryl, and good to see he's still kind of there as a mentor if you need him.
He's awesome. We love having him around.
I've got you guys at number 5 in my preseason ranking. Is that?
Okay.
Is that?
No, I'm good with it. It's our job to make you wrong.
That's true. Is 5 okay with you guys? Is that too high, too low?
I think we'd be a little closer to 1.
A little closer? Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, I'm excited to shoot your games this season. I know, I'll be the St. Johns County football shooter. So, guys, good luck this season. I'm so excited to see how well you guys do. Corey, I'm happy that you're back. And thank you guys so much. And the Varsity 4 High School of Football Media Day special will return right after this break. Welcome back to the Varsity 4 High School Football Media Day special. Justin, we keep these interviews going. Yep. We're talking to University Christians head coach, the Fighting Christians.
David Penland III. Man, you were back, and it's your 14?
Yeah, 13.
13? Yep. 14 at all?
No, I don't know. I got lost track.
Can you believe it? No. You look so young.
I'll be 40 this year.
Wow.
Dreading that. But
football, you got kids now?
Got kids, 40, still doing it.
Still a UC alum and the second most successful, tied for the second most successful program in our area with Trinity Christian, 9 state championships. You've got 3 of them. You contributed to your legacy with 3 of them at your alma mater, too. Mm-hmm. How cool has it been to get back here in 2011 and then take this program, which had fallen a little bit of hard times, to back to prominence?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, being a part of the program when I was little and watching all the state championships, being young. When I had the opportunity to take the job, that was one of my goals, to get UC back to what, UC was known for football, and I wanted to get it back there. And we put a staff together that believed in us. The administration believed in us, and 2011 was a rough season, kind of my first season. And in 2012, we ended up winning it, and that was a huge part of our success. And the coaches that we had at that time, the kids bought into what we were doing, and to bring that back to UC, it meant everything to me. And to do it 2 more times and played in 5 state championships, and to win 3 of them is awesome.
So tell me who the guys who we just had walk in here, some guys coming back for you that were big parts of the last couple of your teams.
Yeah, I got Josh Bruton right here, running back, defense linebacker, outside linebacker, DN, does a little everything for us. Aiden Skidmore, number 10, he's going to play receiver, slot, running back, DB. Genoa Alford, receiver specialist, and then our quarterback's been a starter. These 2 guys have been starting for 3 or 4 years. So it's our senior year. Looking forward to seeing what these guys can do. They've been working real hard in the off season, and they're bought in. They want to get back, so they've been busting their tail. Last year was a little bit of a weird season for you. You came off of a state semifinal run the year before. Crazy, unforgettable, heartbreaking finish in the state semifinal game. And you come back last year, you had injuries. Genoa was banged up for a good bit of the season, changed the offense. You didn't have our player of the year in the backfield carrying the ball like Orel Gray had been doing since he was like in 8th grade. So it was a transitional season for you. Healthy this year, expectations return to normal. Kind of take us through what's expected. Yeah, when you get back to the semifinals and you lose 2 guys like DeSerio and you don't realize how good they were until they're gone. Mm-hmm. And then trying to replace them, and then you go in the season and you lose your main playmaker right out of the gates. And so there's a lot of adjusting. We lost our starting kicker for 4 years. That you don't realize you need a kicker until you don't have one. So there's a lot of things last year that happened, and we just tried to fight through it. And we changed the offense probably 3 times during last year, and finally, got to where we could do successfully. And at the end of the year, we were playing really good football, and we, played a really good game against Trinity. Our best game of the year was against Trinity, and the hunger that these guys have, losing to Providence, the hungers that these guys have coming off that season that were a part of it, is the drive that keeps them going into this year, and they don't want to have a season like that. They want to, we have goals, win a district championship, make the state championship. So these guys have, put the work in that I haven't seen in 2 or 3 years, and attribute that to Coach Matt Hammond. I brought him over, got him back. He was a part of my successful run for about 5-6 years. He had kids, left, coached them. Now he's back. His son's playing for us, and he is, just working them so hard in the weight room, and they've bought into what he's preaching, and it's going to be fun, and I can't wait to watch these guys play. I'm going to get Genoa and Dwayne to put the headsets on there and chat with them for a second, because they were so integral to what you guys did last season. So Genoa, you were banged up last year for a good portion of the season. You healthy this year and ready to get back? You went from the highs of that state semifinal season to juggling a lot of injuries last year out of your control. Do you feel good, and what's kind of the ceiling for this team?
Yeah, I feel great. I feel better than I felt before. Last year was supposed to be like my statement year last year, but, injuries took that away. But, the standard is still high, still set the goals that I want to set, and still need to do what I want to do this year. have a big year this year. I couldn't do that last year, so this year's going to be something special.
Dwayne, same thing for you. Had Orel the year before, handed the ball off, and that helped set up a lot of things with the pass. Last year, your main target, who had such a great season in that semifinal run, he was banged up, so you lose your main offensive guy. Your big-time target is banged up and not healthy all season. It put a lot more pressure on you, and you had games as a team where it felt like things were kind of disjointed and not in sync and having to adjust. How do you feel coming in this season? You got your main target healthy. You got a couple transfers in that are really going to help you. Coaching staff that believes in you. So kind of take me through how you feeling heading into this year.
I feel good. Losing Orel and Genoa and some of those guys from that state semifinal team, they push everybody around them. And then going into my junior year, we just didn't have that same culture we did that year. But going into this upcoming season, all the work we put in the off season, I never felt more prepared for a season coming up.
Do you feel the tradition at UC is like a tradition out of Rains, a tradition out of Bolles, a Trinity? You have that tradition where it precedes you, and it goes back into the 70s where it was just that tradition. Do you know that tradition when you walk down the hallways at UC and you see the plaques on the wall and the state championship pictures and stuff like that? Do you feel that?
Yes, sir. I felt this past season it kind of slipped away from us, but then bringing in a new strength and conditioning coach and OC, Coach Hammond, just really brought out the best in us, and we just bringing it back to how it was before.
What was kind of that low point last year? Was it losing to Providence at home, and did that kind of make you kind of look inside yourself and say we got to change things?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was a rough game. Kind of contributed that some of us, the coaching staff, kind of took some things for granted, but you live and you learn, and we won't be doing that again. I promise you that.
Yeah, Justin, they don't want to bring up the past. Come on.
Well, you could have. You always say you learn more in a loss than you do in a win.
Absolutely, we learned a lot. And that's kind of what turned our season around. Actually, we just kind of went to what we needed to do to figure out what offense we could run with the guys that we had. And then, we got Genoa back in the Trinity game. And I think you were there, that last catch he had across the middle. If he didn't have that knee brace on, it was a touchdown. That game, they played with their hearts out. And both teams at the end of that game were dead tired. That was a really good football game. And the year before, those are two end-of-the-year games that were unbelievable. So looking forward to it again.
Yeah, it's David Pinland, third. He's young. He just turned 40. Most successful active coach in our area behind Verlin Dormy. Supposed to chat with Verlin, but he left out a little bit ago. But Verlin with 9 state championships. He's been kind of a coaching, not say nemesis, but a coaching guy, kind of you bounce things off of. Both guys coach at smaller private schools with a lot of tradition. What do you learn from a guy like Verlin, and you bounce things off a guy like that who's been in the career for 34 years?
Yeah, we talk it all season. We don't talk that, a lot, but we do bounce things off there. The one guy I do really talk to is Coach Pruitt. He's a long time. You started at UC, and I talked to him a lot, and I talked to Tobin a lot, and bounce things off of them. Verlin, we talk here and there in the off season, just when certain stuff comes up. We have a good relationship. There's no hard feelings. So, but Coach Pruitt been around UC, knows UC. He's been very successful in the coaching realm of in Georgia and Florida, and so we actually play them the first game in the Kickoff Classic, and it's always a joy to go down there and talk to him and play him, and he leads me in the right direction.
Who's going to get to 10 state championships first?
I hope it's us.
Well, Coach, thank you guys so much. Good luck this season. The University Christian Fighting Christians.
Right.
I love that name. I just want to point that out. I think that's awesome. Good luck this season. Thank you guys so much. And the Varsity 4 High School Football Media Day special will continue after this break.
Yes, sir.
Well, welcome back to the Varsity for High School Football Media Day special. Justin, we are live here at Everbank Stadium. You can see it right behind us. The Riverside Generals are joining us now. Coach Nicholas, Tayshawn Gelsey, the Florida Gators commit, and Miles Kendrick are joining us on the headsets. Guys, first, just the high school football season 3 weeks away. How excited are you guys to actually kick off the season?
Oh, yeah. I'm very excited for the opportunity to get back out there and just compete and have fun. We're definitely excited about this upcoming schedule. We wanted all the competition that we could get, and we're excited. We're excited.
So, and Tayshawn looks like he's grown 2 feet since he got in high school, and Miles, too, getting bigger. How do you, since O.J. Small kind of left in transition, one thing I always respected about O.J., he said the guys who were staying here were playing, and the guys wanted to play for O.J. When he left, you still kept that tradition kind of rolling. There's really not been a drop-off. When you see coaches leave and go, you've been able to kind of maintain that at Riverside and build something special.
Oh, yeah, we're a family here. I mean, O.J. is not the forefront, but he's still around always. Once a general, always a general. I can always call on him. I mean, we still talk to this day. It's just that transition of, moving to the next phase in life in which we continue to try and get better, even, at our craft for as coaching, as players, and so forth. So we're excited about the opportunity. We just continue to pretty much use the same blueprint of hard work and, just getting after it.
We got Tay and Miles here, but why don't you introduce the rest of the generals here?
Okay. All right, to my right, I got the quarterback, Glenn Foreman III, got Richard Pooler, defensive back, got Shamon Davis. He do a lot for us for his running back, offense, defense. Got Marquez Griffin. Yeah, number 8 back there, we got Chavez Williams, Chevy Williams here.
You got a lot of guys.
Yes,
and I think I've got Riverside coming in number 6 in my preseason rankings. Is that too low, too high?
It's too low.
That's too low? Okay.
Yeah, it's too low. Yeah, I'm gonna be that guy this year.
Okay.
That's the unanimous answer for
I told you, hey, we want all the smoke. Where the camera right there? We want all the smoke. We want the competition. Bring it. Okay.
That's good. See, I like that. But it's you feel lower ranked than you should. But
yes.
When I see teams that are 8-man teams saying, "Hey, put me into Super 10," come on now, come on. You have a valid point. You're 9-3 last year.
I understand what you're going off of as well as the statistics. I know the details, and I understand you have a job to do. And that's one thing is why we have preseason, and then it's another reason for is why we play the game.
That's right. That's right.
I'm looking forward to it.
And shutting us up. And Riverside was one of the best schools last year. It always sending us highlights after predictions on Friday nights. They'd let me know.
That was my favorite part of the season, by the way, guys.
Riverside was fantastic. So, Miles, let me ask you first. You did so much last year. I mean, offense, defense, everything, going to college, Indiana.
Yes, sir.
And what do you expect in your final season? And the expectations are there. You got Florida commit playing side of you, a 9-win team. A lot of you guys come back. Glenn coming back at quarterback, running backs returning. What are you expecting, and what can we look forward to out of Riverside this year?
I could personally say, for all of us being seniors, we all been together at least 3+ years. You can expect us to have fun. Last year was really a rebuild year to show everybody we still here and stuff like that. But I said, we're ready to just have fun and beat everybody in front of us.
9 wins was a rebuild year? Man, you guys, high expectations. That's good. That's good. Tay, for you've got a big target on your back now. You've kind of been trending that way toward being a big-time recruit since you were a freshman, but to actually head into your senior year, you're a Florida guy, you're going to have those big lights and bright lights on you. You ready for that?
Yeah, I'm ready. I've been just as a freshman, it was even as a freshman, I had a name just being with Jaheim Singletary, Bryce Capers, all these guys that went D1 who had a big name around the city. Just being around them, it really got me prepared for it. So I think I'll be ready for our upcoming season.
I went to
a number change this year too?
Yeah.
You're number 2 now?
Yeah, I'm number
Weren't you 13? What inspired number change?
Number 2 is my first number playing football, so I was like, why not finish high school with it?
I remember I came to your guys' signing a couple weeks ago, I think it was, and I remember you had the whole, the stands were filled with fans and, Riverside Generals, student athletes and students. Just what is it like to have that support from the community as you guys sign to continue on playing college or playing football in college?
I could start. I mean, just seeing everybody that I could put a smile on their face and just knowing we just getting started just to make them proud and just keep going, honestly.
Just the support, not even
Is
just.
someone calling you?
Yeah.
Answer the phone, come on.
They're probably seeing you on TV right now.
It's not even just Riverside, just the community, just coming, seeing two black kids like going D1, like just living out their dreams. So just the sacrifices they made just to show their support, it just means a lot to us.
You made a lot of Florida Gator fans happy when you signed or when you committed to them. You know, we talked about this, but let's revisit it. Why choose the Gators? Wow, you're blowing up. I bet people are watching News for Jacks right now, and they're blowing up your phone. But again, why decide to go to Gainesville?
Just the community. It's just a family there. Like, it's like usually when you go to colleges, like it's really just your position coach you really talk to. But when I get there, it's not even just me, just people that's not committed. They know everybody's name. They treat everybody the same. The community come together. It's just a great environment to be in.
So we got to give you a new nickname this year, right?
No.
You blow it up again. So it was TG13, right? So we got to go for the new nickname.
Wait, so what's the new nickname? Come on, let's think about it right now.
Oh no.
We'll have to maybe put a poll out or something like that. But the expectations are good. 9 wins. You got a brand new field a couple years ago. The turf field, backyard on Friday nights is exciting. What are you shooting for? The teams say, every year teams say, I want a state championship, knowing that that's not a realistic goal. You guys are probably in a position where you could say state championship is a realistic goal for you guys. Do you write down things, or is it 1 week at a time? Is it focused on week 1, or are you looking at, we have those expectations to play for a championship?
We definitely have the expectations for us playing for the championship. I think it's a thing of just getting better and better each week and not overlooking anyone. Dotting I's, crossing the T's, and just the details, those things that matters in big games. I think a lot of times when you have talent that we have as well as other teams that we go against, you start to overlook and you don't look at the details that make you who you are. So that's the thing that we're going to do. We're going to focus on details. Like Miles said, having fun, get back to having fun, that passion for the game. And we want the competition. We want the smoke. We want it all.
The thing about what OJ did and what you kind of continue, you have a lot of guys that are homegrown guys. You're not the portal hasn't been kind to you like it has to other schools. You guys, Tay's been there for a while, Miles been there, Glenn's been there. You guys have built with kids that have come to your school in 9th grade and built it that way.
That's a testament to the coaching staff. We got awesome coaching staff. That's one thing. We're a brotherhood. We're a family. We show them how to be a family. We've been there for a long time. Awesome coaching staff, athletic director, the support, man, just the tradition. Going back to when it was Lee, and I understand it's Riverside, but the passion, the tradition is still there. And we just continue to build off of that and just get better and better. We actually do a lot of time for us coaching and developing. And it's bigger than football,
The Riverside Generals. We are so excited to cover you guys this season. We are so excited to see what you guys do this season. Hopefully win a state championship, and hopefully you guys can keep sending Justin, Barney, and more tweets after the games. Jamal and I make sure to post every single one on our show.
Riverside was by far the best school last year.
They did. Your cheerleaders, they did a great job. Riverside sent it in too. Well, thank you guys so much. Good luck this season. Well, Justin, there are a lot of changes coming to high school football season. The playoffs will be changing. NIL is now legal for Florida high school athletes. Let's look at some of the changes coming to the 2024 season. Take us through it.
Big changes this year. We've got, last year it was a 2-year cycle, the rural, metro, and suburban playoffs. So we had, I believe, the 9 most populous counties or the 7 most populous counties in Florida put in their own class. And the suburban class seems like St. Johns County, St. Augustine, Creekside, Bartram, those guys were in their own separate class, Bradford. And we had district champs and 4 at-large teams make the playoffs. And we had no local state champs this last year. Fast forward to this year, we're back. I always say it's out with the new and with the old. So the old system of 1A through 7A and the existing rural division, that was basically the 1R division, that is back in place. The path to the playoffs is still the district champs get in, and then we have 4 at-large playoff teams going to the postseason. And a lot of teams in different places too. Mandarin is no longer in that biggest classification, the 8A or the 7A. They're down to 6A. Bartram Trail no longer in the biggest classification. They're down from like a 7A to a 6A. And will remain to be be seen whether we will have a state champion this year, and if we do, it will be, I am looking at a team like maybe a Mandarin winning a state championship, maybe a St. Augustine contending for a state championship, maybe a Bolles or Rains playing for a state championship. So we have a lot of changes, and we'll have to have another slide next year because we have even bigger changes on the horizon in 2025 with the institution of the championship or the open division. So that will take, that's kind of the way to address the heavyweight teams that continue to win the state championships, the teams, the Cocos and the Chaminades, those teams that have got a monopoly on winning state championships. So they're going to go into their own division in 2025 and play in their own playoff bracket come playoff time. So it's going to be the 8 highest ranked teams in the state. So that will be interesting. I think that will help address some of these equity issues that we've had in the past. And that's why a lot of suburban coaches loved that suburban metro playoff system, because they got to play with schools really of like quality. You know, the St. Augustines were playing the Daytona Beach Mainlands in the championship game. That would probably not happen under the new system or the system we have now or the old system. So I think that championship division that's coming in 2025 is going to be fantastic.
Well, Justin, there is no one around here that covers high school football better than you. So make sure you stay tuned to News for Jax for all of his updates for the upcoming changes to the high school football landscape. No, not just this year, but also next year. Varsity 4 High School Football Media Day special will continue right after this breaks. Well, welcome back to the Varsity 4 High School Football Media Day special. Justin, we are joined by a very, very successful coach around here, Mandarin's head football coach, Coach Bullock. First, how exciting is this? August 1st, the season's about to kick off in just a few weeks for you.
Yeah, football is just exciting, period. Whether you're coaching or not coaching, it's exciting. When you get to be around kids you enjoy being around every day, men that you enjoy being around every day, it makes it a little bit better. Just like going to a family reunion.
You had that success in 18 with Carson and the state championship game against Columbus. You played Columbus again last year. I mean, different circumstances. You're in 4M, there's 4S and stuff like that. Everybody's back in the same pot now.
Yep.
How exciting is that to have that true state championship again? And what do you expect from you guys? You guys are loaded coming back, but with that comes managing expectations and
everything. How do you kind of keep that in check, and how excited is it to be in that 1 through 7A again?
For me, it's not hard to keep it in check because no one has higher expectations than myself. It wouldn't matter if I was coaching a Pop Warner football team. It doesn't matter. It's so outside noise, outside expectations don't mean anything. My coaches are very similar to me. My players are very similar. But the best thing that comes with expectations, the best thing that comes with that is on the hot days when everybody's dragging butt, you can put that out there, put that out to the kids, and you get that little pep back in their step. You know, the fact of losing or being embarrassed or anything like that affects them. You use it as a tool to get better, not as a crutch.
You've got IMG on the road this year. You've got St. Augustine. I mean, you've got some heavyweights on that schedule this year. Not a lot of bye weeks or homecoming games on that schedule this week.
Yep.
If you take some losses in the regular season, is that good? And how do you get the players to see, even though you're talented, you've got all these top profile recruits, how do you say, hey, a loss isn't a bad thing?
I would never want a loss. I like adversity. So I'd rather have a tough game than a loss. Are you saying we're losing?
That's what I was thinking when he said that, Coach.
Hey.
That's what I was thinking.
They only can recruit the country. What are you talking about?
You had 4 losses as state champ. Yeah. You had 3 losses last year. So a loss isn't a bad thing, right?
It can be used to your benefit sometimes. But the consoling the kids, consoling your coaches, consoling yourself after the game, a loss I'll do without. I'll take 15-0 over 11-4 any day.
Well, listen, I don't think any team that beats Mandarin this season, hopefully they don't, of course, for your sake. I know, for your sake. But hopefully for your sake, you go undefeated. But that's like beating, for a college team to beat Alabama back in the day when I was in school. You guys are absolutely stacked, the most talented team in Northeast Florida. All eyes are going to be on you this season. How do you manage not only those expectations, but how do you make sure that your student athletes are prepared for that and don't get too caught up in all the,
first, you want to make sure your hair looks good. Plain and simple, because everybody's looking at you, so you don't want to be embarrassed.
You look great.
But the simple truth is, like I said a minute ago, if you don't want to be the center of attention, you're in the wrong sport. I tell the kids all the time, I love making deep playoff runs because everybody has to come watch us play. And now we get to have everybody come want to watch us play at the first kickoff. It's a good time. It's a good thing. If anybody that says they don't enjoy having people there and people hating them, they're lying to you, man. And we enjoy it. My roots have always been, I've coached in a lot of places, and I've been in a lot of places where we didn't win a lot. And I'll take a bunch of people wanting me to lose and wanting to beat me over no one thinking I'm ever going to win a game, having Justin call me when I get my first win after 3 years or whatever it was, and just being excited, Adversity doesn't scare me. Success doesn't scare me. It doesn't scare my kids. And the simple fact is we want to have that pressure. I don't want to have just my staff at the taco truck on Phillips Highway after a win or a loss. I want to be what everybody wants to be, and that's the goal.
You've got so many talented players. Some coaches don't get to coach the likes of Carson Beck in their lifetime, or a DeMario in their lifetime, and an Elite 11 quarterback like you've got this year in Tramel Jones, a 5-star receiver, Jamie French, some unbelievable freshmen coming through the ranks. You've been very blessed to do that in your career. These guys this year that you're coaching, what makes them so special?
They're not prima donnas. You can talk to them, you can get after them, you can settle them down when they do get mad. They have enough common sense to settle back down. I've been around prima donnas, and they're fun when everything's going great. They're not fun when things aren't going great. And when you look at Jamie and he's mad or something like that, you can go, "Are you serious right now?" And he'll go, "You're right. I'm sorry. Let's get back in it." It's very easy for me to coach the kids we have because my staff is phenomenal. I have a staff that believes in building relationships. I have a staff that builds great relationships, and I have a bunch of alphas. And when you have alphas coaching alphas, you're going to be fine. It doesn't mean you're going to go 15-0, but it also means that the train ain't going to stay off the tracks too long. And my staff is phenomenal. I had an emergency yesterday that I wasn't able to go to practice. I had to see a friend that got some bad news, and so my wife and I drove to see him. I didn't have a worry in the world that practice was going to go just like it's supposed to go. Jonathan Reed, my assistant head coach, he's the best in the business of being a leader of men. And then from Clayton Kaysen, my DC, to Coach Cam and everybody, to Coach Ganaway, Coach Harrell, all of them, they're going to do what they need to do. They're leader of men, and that's why they got hired.
You finished, you were this 4A state runner-up last season. I remember when we talked to Trammell and Drake and, all of your players this offseason, they said the only thing they want is that state championship. Yeah. What is it that you guys need to do this season to earn that coveted trophy?
Play every game as its own game. Don't look ahead. Play every game. The only person that matters right now is Creekside. Nothing else matters. We play Orange Park, but the simple fact is, if Orange Park's looking at us, that game doesn't count for it. It gives you no points, gives you nothing. That is a game for us to go out there, get our kids ready to go, get their kids ready to go, get our young kids ready to go. Only game that matters right now is Creekside. Nothing else matters. With the point system and the ranking system being such a big deal, wins matter. It's not just about win your district now and you're good to go. My first year ever coaching at Wilson High School, we were 3-7, made the playoffs because we won the right games. That doesn't happen anymore. And so that's the biggest thing that we have going for us is they want that so bad. It's all they think about. It's all they talk about. And that's a good thing. If you look historically at Alabama, when they lost the national title, the next year they rebounded. Hopefully we can get some of that.
Well, roll tide to that, Justin.
Yeah, you go from 7A, 4M, 7A basically down to 6A this year. So it's a little bit different of a scenario. All the teams are back together. Yep. What do you know about that 6A landscape? And I remember you saying a couple years ago when your first year, we may not have been the most talented team on the field on a Friday night. Yep. That wasn't the case last year, and that's certainly not the case this year. You guys are the most talented team on the field on Friday night, with the exception maybe in IMG.
Yeah. The coolest thing that we have going for us, this will be my 8th season coaching in some capacity at Mandarin High School, not as the head coach in all 8 years, but we've always been the smallest 8A team. The school, our numbers are right on that 7A. Well, now there's no 8A. 7A is now 8A. We're in 6A. We are now the biggest 6A team. So we went from being the smallest team in our classification, now the biggest team in our classification. I'm hoping that pays off. I'm hoping that it gives us an advantage. You want to look for an advantage anywhere you can get it. And I'm excited about that. Bartram's in 6A. Mega program, mad respect for them. Buchholz is in 6A. Homestead's coming out of the South. They were state runners-up last year. Monarchs in 6A, who we beat in the 4th round of the playoffs last year. They're going to be great. You got to go to the Panhandle with Niceville and all those guys. So hopefully you don't have to travel. That's a tough game, even though we don't do too bad with traveling. But you have all these guys in that classification. And every classification has its dudes. We don't have Columbus. I'd like another shot at Columbus to see if we could take advantage of the series again, but that's not the case, and so we'll try to win a 6A title.
Yeah, first team in area history to win 4 playoff games on the road. Yep. So you want to get a home game.
2,400 miles or something like that. We drove to Texas and back or something like that. It was crazy.
Well, Coach, thank you so much. Good luck this season. We are very excited to cover the Mandarin Mustangs and the Varsity for High School Football Media Day special. We'll be right back after this break. Day. Welcome back to the Varsity for High School Football Media Day special. Justin, we are joined by one of the best teams in our area. A lot of people hate them, to be honest, but you guys love each other, obviously. The Bolles Bulldogs. You guys always have a target on your back. You guys are known as a state contender every single year. Last season, not the season you wanted. You ended in the state semis. This season, obviously, hopefully, you guys can win a state championship. We can cover it. Just what's the excitement heading into the 2024 season for you, Coach?
We are extremely excited, and obviously, you know, we played a lot of young guys last year, a lot of sophomores playing, and we took some lumps early, but the growth that this team has had, and you talked about it, the love within the program, the never questioning each other, just knowing if we continue to work together and get better, and we did. We got better and better and better, and by the end, a competitive game in the Final Four for a chance to play for another state title, but then we've got a lot of those guys back, and that this group has a chance to be special, but you're right, we do know that. We know that no one's rooting for us but us, and so the Bolles versus everybody mantra, like, we are fine with it. We are excited for this year, but we're also excited because early in the season we're going to get tested, and we'll find out how good we really are very quickly.
Reigns in week one, I've covered so many of those games. You were at Clay or Pontbriand, you were at different schools during that Reigns-Bolles era, but you know about that Reigns-Bolles rivalry. It's amazing. When Corky was there, it was fantastic. Duran was at Reigns. It was just so good, and it raised everything for both of those programs, and you're going to get that week one.
And I think that's the biggest thing, and the guys will attest to it. There are rivalries where you hate each other, and there's rivalries where there's a lot of mutual respect. And I think this is one of those, like Bolles Reigns, where, like, look, we're going to go both and compete to win that game, but there is so much respect on both sides that we are going to be rooting for them as they move forward, and they're going to be rooting for us as we move forward. And I think that's what makes it so awesome, is those rivalries where it is built on mutual respect and pushing each other. And it's been that way, you know, it predates me.
It was great. I mean, to hear Corky Rogers, rest his soul, winning his coach in state history, and a great guy, but he would say it raised my game, made me a better coach when I coached against Duran, and Duran would say the same thing, made me be a better coach when I coached against Bolles. And that's, I mean, your players are going to be better players after week one when they see Reigns, and vice versa at Reigns. When you're playing them right out of the gate, Ethan, how cool is that? There's no off weeks when you're getting a Reigns program right out of the gate.
I'm excited. It's just like another game. I mean, great competition, because, like, we're gonna have great competition for the first, like, 3 weeks of the schedule. So I mean, I'm excited. I mean, it's gonna get me ready for the season. Just another game though. Just have fun out there. Just compete.
You know, year 6 for you, right?
Yes, sir.
Year 6, you've been to the state semifinals or beyond every year you've been at Bolles. So that's, even last year, which wasn't a 5-5 regular season, yet struggles in between, playing a lot of young guys, you still managed to get to the Final Four. I mean, that would be a dream year for everybody. What, I mean, you keep getting there. You keep getting there.
But I think ultimately, like, that's the joy of being at Bolles, where we circle a state title as the goal every single year, and getting there is the goal, and we've been to 6 Final Fours and every single year. And if I see an alumni, you know, out at Publix, they'll say, like, hey, don't worry about it, you'll get one eventually. And you're right, these dream seasons, but there's a standard that Coach Rogers set, and we're chasing it, and we have no problem. No one is ever going to put more pressure on us than we put on ourselves, and there's a lot of pressure to be good, and there's a lot of pressure to win ball games at Bolles, but, like, our players holding each other accountable, and how hard that they're going to work and push each other, that ultimately is the standard that pushes us.
There are schools that just, when you slip that jersey on, it's pressure, it's pride, it's tradition, and Bolles, probably no school emanates that more in our area or in the state than Bolles. I mean, 11 state championships, 10 under Coach Rogers. Tradition continues under Coach Toblin. Playing at Bolles, just putting on the jersey, do you feel that pressure?
I feel that pressure, definitely, no, because we've been good for a very long time. You know, a lot of alumni put a lot into this program, and they're ready for us to compete and do what we got to do and bring another state championship back to Bolles.
But pressure is a good thing, right?
Oh yeah,
pressure's a good thing.
We love it. Love the pressure. Definitely been, like, we've been working a lot. The team's been, we were young for the past years, so I mean, we have a lot of, like, family work. Like, we've been working together a lot this offseason, so I mean, I'm really excited for the season.
You guys have a stacked team, offense and defense. We talked to some of your teammates during the Rivals camp. I mean, we talked about this many times this interview, but, you know, the pressure that you guys feel, what are you guys looking forward to this season? Is it, you know, trying to prove everyone wrong, prove Justin wrong? Because You guys aren't his number one team in the Super 10.
Definitely. I mean, we definitely have a lot of talent, but like that, we can't let that get to us. Like just because we have tons of talent, we still got to play as like a team. Like everyone has to work together. So, I mean, the talent is definitely a good thing, but we can't everyone can't be just playing for themselves. Everyone has to play for each other. So like, make the other person make a play for the other person. Like even if you don't get the credit, still make a play.
And pressure is a blessing. Yeah. That means it's important. And you want to be somewhere where it's important. Like if you go somewhere and there's no pressure, then what you're doing isn't meaningful, it's not important, then I don't want to be there. Mm-hmm. And so the pressure is a blessing. I think that is the first part. But the second part is when we talk about expectations, we don't shy away from that, but being the best version of ourselves. And that this team knows that if they are the best version of themselves individually and collectively, we have a chance to win a lot of football games. And that's what we're chasing.
You feel like this team, you took your lumps last year, and that's good you took your lumps because the guys that took those lumps were all underclassmen. Were guys that were kind of putting in the time, getting the reps and stuff, but those underclassmen are now grown up. They're big. It's like the little brother who gets picked on all the time, and then boom, that little brother shoots up to 6'4", and he can now beat up the big brother. You feel like that, where you took your lumps last year, and hey, we're back, and we're wiser, we're more experienced, and we're ready to go.
About it. Definitely losing two big front seven guys, Garrison and Trent. I think the lumps that we took that's early in the season, I think that built the younger back seven of our defense, actually, because they were all underclassmen, and that's bettering us for this season coming up. So
it's not like in that bad start you were playing Little Sisters of the Poor. St. Augustine, Mandarin, team from Georgia, right?
Coffee.
I mean, those are your first three teams, and they were undefeated for a bulk of the season.
They were all either won a state title or they were in the state title game.
So, I mean, you're not, we'll preface that rough start with they're not playing the bad teams. They were playing teams that were pretty much undefeated the whole regular season or played for or won state championships. So you got your lumps, you took your experience against the teams that were elite. Are the expectations state championship for you guys? So many teams set expectations and they're not realistic. But for you guys,
I mean, 100%, but we just want to take it one game by itself. We don't want to we're not shooting straight to that. So we want to build to that. So we've been just working hard every day. We're not thinking about it right now. We'll just see the path that it takes us. But yeah, 100% shooting for that.
I got you guys ranked third in my preseason poll. Is that too high, too low?
Bolles versus everybody.
Bolles versus everybody.
No one's happy with you today.
No. You gotta validate it. And three's high. Three's solid for ball. I got St. Aug at 2 and Mandarin at 1. So I think it's pretty. And Bolles reigns our game of the week in week 1, so that is going to be a fantastic game. Coach, your 6th year, what have you learned in your previous 5 years at Bolles? You've had some other good stops at college, at Clay, at Pontbriand, played for a championship. You coached Mr. Football at Pontbriand. What do you learn your first 5 years at Bolles?
So, I think the biggest thing that I've learned is understanding the pace of a season. That when you play till December, you've got to make sure that you are building your team as you go through. We want to be ready for week 1, but ultimately we've got to understand that we've got to continue to build, that there's going to be a point that as we get in the playoffs that we need to be full speed, and that what we don't want to do is you don't want to peak too early. And understanding that pace and how a long season goes has probably been my biggest challenge. And as a younger coach, I was like, look, we got to be ready to go week 1, and we are flying in preparation. And then I don't know that we always got better as the year went on. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that we have learned from the guys who were held over from Coach Rogers is understanding what that big picture season needs to look like.
Well, Coach Tobin, thank you so much. Quarterback Ethan Drum and safety CJ Ennis. We are so excited to see how far you guys go this season. We're excited to cover you guys. Good luck this season. And the news for Varsity 4 High School Football Media Day will continue after this break. Well, welcome back to the Varsity for High School Football Media Day special. Justin, we have talked about the Camden County tight end. He is tall, he is fierce. He's committed to the University of Georgia. Elias Williams, he is joined by his teammate Joshua Locklear, another tight end, and new head football coach Travis Rowland. Camden County, we get to represent Southeast Georgia here.
Absolutely.
How excited are you guys for this season?
We're very excited. We ended in the semifinals last year, and we just ready to come back and work this year.
Beyond excited, blessed to be here. Thankful that this opportunity came open and that I was chosen. These kids have been amazing. They've been the easiest part of the whole process and the transition. Their dedication to the sport, the dedication to Camden County High School is clutch for us, and we're looking forward to it. We've got great senior leaders here. Our quarterback, returning starter, Parks Randu. We've got our number 6 outside linebacker, Wayne Ostella, senior for us. We have senior academic All-American is going to be great, Tazio Rosso. And then we have Zach Taylor, another one, offensive lineman for us, Elias Williams, and then senior leader for us, Josh Locklear, playing tight end. And so these are some of our great guys that are great leaders for us.
Now, Travis is coaching north of the border in Kingsland now, but he comes from a traditionalist program in Mainland. They won a state championship last year. Heartbreak over St. Augustine, but an excellent one for you guys at Daytona Beach Mainland. Unbelievable championship game, 21-19. Your first as a head coach. That's your alma mater, too.
Yes, sir.
So how cool was that moment? And
man, great moment. I mean, we celebrated for a long time. I think I celebrated longer than everybody. It was a great time because we faced a lot of adversity the year before, losing by 2 points in the way we lost. So it was a long journey back, and really appreciate it. And then kind of you're getting into going into next year in the middle of January, and you see Coach Aaron step away, and opportunity opened up, and like why not? And the timing was right, and so like I said, God does everything in His perfect timing, and that's kind of how it went down. And just like I said, but blessed to be here, plus to take on the challenge with these guys to try to deliver Camden their 4th state title. It'll be the first one since 2009, and so trying to definitely get back to that point. We want to get to Thanksgiving weekend and give ourselves a chance to fight amongst the elite programs in the state.
Yeah, Coach Rowland has done it at Mainland. To win a state championship at Mainland in Florida is a massive career accomplishment, but going north of the border, a lot of coaches make that transition from Florida to a Georgia program, and Camden is one of the best in Georgia.
Yes,
you get to coach guys like Elias. You're coming on the heels of Jeff Herron, who is like equated to like the Georgia version of Corky Rogers, because he is so good. Jeff Herron just retired after an illustrious career all over Georgia and in the Carolinas. So the pressure's on. You're following a legend. You're welcoming it. You win a state championship. You get to do it with a guy like Elias, who is he's our number 3 recruit in the area, headed to Georgia. Big tight end. They don't make tight ends. They don't make tight ends like this in Florida. So talk about coaching him.
I mean, I've been telling everybody how blessed I am. He's I think the 4th 5-star coach, Cyrus Fagan, and Mainland, LJ McCray, and Zay Mincy as last year. And the thing that all 4 of those guys now with him have in common, he's so humble. I think, you ask any of these guys, ask anybody at our school, how humble he is and what he brings to practice every day, to school every day. He's not bigger than the program, not bigger than the school. I think that's a great testament to the community that he's grown up in, and to his parents as well. But, I mean, he's just a phenomenal kid to coach. And then his talent is his talent. It's just up to us to put him in the right position to make plays, because he'll do it for you. But I think it just his character is the piece that you just have to speak to so much.
Elias, you're one of the rare 5-star recruits. Like, can you believe it that you've worked that hard as you're getting all of this recognition as one of the best, not only tight ends in the country, but one of the best high school football players in the country as well?
I'd just like to thank God. I mean, I know my freshman year, I was seeing everybody else get like the recognition. I just kept my head down and went to work, and God made it happen.
You're a Kingsland guy, grew up in Kingsland, come up through the Camden County pipeline. How cool is it to be in a restaurant on Friday night and people know you? Good luck at the game. Good luck. We're proud of you. You get that in that small town kind of vibe.
Yes, sir. I get it sometimes. I don't really go out like that sometimes, but when I do, some people recognize me. But they do tell me good luck Friday for the game and stuff like that.
Josh, would be a tight end with Elias. Just what does he bring to the team, and how's your relationship as you guys enter the season?
Oh, he brings a great attitude. It's great to work with somebody that constantly gets me better. Show up every day and know that I have to work to compete with this man right here. It's just a great honor, to be honest.
What's the expectation after last year, state semifinals?
What'd you say?
What's the expectation after getting so far last season, having what you did, a new coach? What's the expectation for your final season for some of these guys you played with for your whole career?
I just feel like we got to go back and finish. I mean, we got to for the seniors last year and for the community. I mean, it's been a long time, and I think now's the time.
Well, Justin is a Georgia fan.
That's right. Dogs.
So he's really excited to go up there. What are you most excited for as we wrap up this interview to continue in college? I mean, that is a prestigious program.
I have to say the fans. I mean, the home games, Sanford Stadium, is usually pretty loud, and just like the work there. Can't wait. We
are excited to not only cover you guys this season, but also continue and cover you at the University of Georgia. Guys, thank you so much. Good luck this season. Well, there are a lot of changes coming to not only college football this season, but also to high school football. Let's look at one of them. NIL, now legal in high school football. And high school football now the Camden County Wildcats, they were able to profit off of NIL this past season because the Georgia High School Athletic Association passed it last year, as you can see. But now the FHSAA has passed it June 4th. I mean, this is huge for high school football players. I remember a couple of years ago when college athletes were able to profit off their name, image, likeness. Like, it's something that you would never even think of just a couple of years ago. Now, high school football players are going to be able to profit off their NIL as well, Justin.
It's remarkable how things have changed in really a short period of time. The Georgia High School Association last year did it, and there was not a lot of players who were able to take advantage of that. So it wasn't as robust as I think people are fearing or what they see at the college level being just so widespread and rampant. So I don't think it's going to be as seismic as some people think, but the fact that high school athletes now have that ability, and I look at it as the ability to get food at a local restaurant. You know, you can endorse, I had Coach Matt Toblin earlier, and we were talking off camera. You know, we talked about NIL a few years ago, and he said it would have been great in high school if Tebow could have been sponsored by a Bogey's Grill or a local restaurant in Ponte Vedra to make money off of his name, image, and likeness, which he would be able to under this bill. But what you're against is it becoming like a pay-for-play system like it is at the college level, and I think that's what parents and coaches are worried about because, yeah, the rules are there. You saw them up on the screen a second ago, but you're going to be able to find out how to beat those rules. You're going to be able to find out you're going to have a conniving or a very smart booster club or a collective come in there and find out how to do that. And I know there are safeguards in place now to stop against collectives. There was emergency board meeting called. The collective language was added to the bill before it was passed. So you are going to have people that violate and take advantage of this, and Florida is a state with open enrollment where you have no real transfer laws or regulations in place. The FHSA has somewhere on the website where you can lodge an allegation, but again, the NCAA can't police it. FHSA is not going to be able to police it, and that's, I think, the element about it that causes the most concern if it's recruiting inducements or things like that. But as of now, NIL is legal in Florida. It was legal in Georgia last year, so we'll see that full year cycle come into play in Georgia. So I think we're still trying to navigate and learn. But, yeah, it's a lot of gray areas still, but it's kind of the wave of the future.
So many changes coming to the high school football landscape here in Northeast Florida and South Georgia. And you know what? We're changing it up as well for our Football Friday show. Football Friday no longer. We're going with the Varsity 4 programming. You can watch that show every Friday night at 10:30 p.m. during the high school football season. We'll be bringing you highlights as well as Justin's updated Super 10, where you can see all of the local action going on. I'm covering St. Johns County again. Jamal's covering Duval. There's a lot going on, and we'll of course cover Southeast.
It's awesome. Well. It's one of my favorite times of the year. I mentioned at the top of the show, it's my 27th year covering high school football in the state, and it's exciting. I love it. I love the kickoff aspect of it. You know, and if it's just awesome. You can't overstate what high school sports mean beyond just football to athletes and families and communities. You see it every Friday night when you're out shooting games. Alessandra, we hear it from fans on social media, and I just don't think the importance of high school sports and covering high school sports can really be oversimplified or over-dramatized. It's just awesome. Georgia high school football kicks off August 16th. Our Football Friday game of the week will be at Bolles, at Rains, and week 1 on August 23rd. I am pumped.
Well, I am so excited for the high school football season to officially begin. Justin, thank you so much. Thank you for watching the Varsity 4 show.